Story time of how I tweeted that my ex was a bird and he put a dead pigeon on my doorstep the next day.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Girl Chat. Today we're going to be talking about dating horror stories, and I would like anyone who's in the dating scene to listen in for more red flags to watch out on. And if you have a horror story of your own, please do share it with us in the comments. And while you're listening on today's confessionals, share your thoughts down in the comments below, but please keep it respectful. We are all living and learning, and this is another chance to know what else is out there because the dating scene is a little crazy. So kindly date with caution, and if you enjoy this topic, don't forget to subscribe.
Story time of how I tweeted that my ex was a bird and he put a dead pigeon on my doorstep the next day. I'm gonna actually insert the clip of my cousin picking the dead bird up from my doorstep. So anyways, let's get into how this happened, why this happened, and what the hell was he thinking? Honestly, this was one of the worst men I've ever dated in my life, and I'm still scared of him. So boom, me and this guy dated when I was like 19, 20 years old. Honestly, he was a straight narcissist. Like, he was one of the most terrible people I've ever dated. Long story short, he was one of those men that acted very nonchalant in the relationship. He acted like I did not care. He showed no emotions. Even when I broke up with him, he was very nonchalant, like as if it didn't mean nothing to him. Little after I left him, we still had each other on Snapchat. And I remember he ended up posting a picture with the girl he told me not to worry about. So after I saw that they were booed up and cuddled up on Snapchat, I just removed him because I'm like, what am I even doing having this man on my Snap still? I'm the one who broke up with him. What am I doing? So I deleted him. And after I deleted him, yes, I was like feeling some type of way about that. So I went to go tweet, my ex and his new girl are birds. I honestly did not think that he was going to see it because we did not have each other on Twitter, and we also did not have any mutuals. I met this man when we were in college together, and I also did not expect for him to go look up my Twitter and read my tweets because, like I said, he was acting so nonchalant in the relationship. Like, it's as if I did not matter, the things I said didn't matter, my tweets didn't matter. So I did not know he was gonna see it. And that was like my first and only time I ever tweeted about him because that was bird behavior. Like, come on. I kid you not. The next day, he put a dead pigeon right on my doorstep. Y'all saw the video. It was no coincidence at all. And then I wish that I took a better video of the pigeon because it's like he shot it with like a BB gun or something. Like, it was bleeding from its head. And this made me super scared of him because first of all, he lived an hour away and he did not have no car. So how did he get this bird to my doorstep? And not him traveling with a dead bird. I knew that his girlfriend had a car, so I'm pretty sure they did that together, which is weird behavior. Like I said, bird behavior. Anyways, after that whole dead bird situation, I went to go delete my tweet and I never tweeted about him again. I wish I can tell you guys it stopped there, but it didn't. It only got worse, and I ended up taking him to court and I had to get an order of protection against him. I do want to mention when we went to court though, everything that he was doing, he admitted and said that it was his new girlfriend. And I still have all of the documentation because he had gotten a lawyer and everything when we went to court, and he still lost. So I say all that to say, usually it's the men that act nonchalant who are very chalant at the end of the relationship. Because he did all of that stonewalling just for him to harass me after the relationship. Anyways, rest in peace to that pigeon.
Story time on why you should be really careful about who you're dating. So this is a true story, friend of a friend kind of thing. There was a young girl. She lived in New York City, and she was on a dating app and matched with this young guy. He seemed like a really great person. He had his stuff together, good job, lived local to the area. They talked for a few weeks. Everything was going really great. No red flags, all of that good stuff. He decides to ask her out one night, and they end up going to, she agrees, they end up going to this really nice restaurant. He pays, he's a gentleman, he's nice to wait staff. They wrap up the night, and they both go to their respective homes. And after she gets settled at her apartment, she gets a text from him saying that he lost his key, and he's trying to get a hold of his roommate. His roommate isn't home, but his roommate is also not answering. So he's kind of like stuck outside of his apartment. Just sort of like telling her that, and She just kind of figures, all right, I'll invite you over. So, maybe give him a little bit of time to figure out what's going on, either find his key or get in contact with his roommate. So he comes over to her apartment and they have, a really nice chat. They sit on the couch. Finally, she decides that she's going to go to bed. She doesn't know why, but she goes into her own bedroom, which has a door, and she ends up locking it. And it's just one of those things that she felt like she needed to do, which I totally get. Like, new people in your space. Sometimes it's nice to just be extra cautious. So she goes to her bedroom, she locks the door, and he's sleeping on the couch. Around 3 a.m, she wakes up to a knocking on her door. It's her date. And he asks her if she has a cell phone charger because his cell phone is dead and he needs to charge it. This is the part where it gets really crazy. So she tells him that she has one and it's on the kitchen counter. And she just tells him this through the door. She doesn't get up. She doesn't unlock the door. She doesn't go and find it for him. And I'm thinking to myself, if this was me, I would totally get up and grab it for the person and give it to them and then be like, all right, anything else? Good night. He says thank you. He goes, he grabs the charger, whatever. She doesn't know. She just goes right back to sleep. A few minutes later, he knocks on the door again. He said it's not working. And does she have one in her room? At this point, she's thinking that there's something up. She decides to call the police, which, once again, good for you, girl, for having the instinct to connect with the police. The police show up to the apartment. They knock on the door. She hears some commotion going on. And then she gets a knock on her bedroom door, because mind you, she hasn't come out this entire time. And it's a police officer. And he said, we've cleared the apartment. We have him in custody. We really need you to come out of your room so you can take a look at your apartment. She opens the door and walks out, and she sees that her entire living room is plasticked. And there is a set of power tools sitting on the floor. This girl, because of her instinct to not open the door to a weird request for a phone charger in the middle of the night, saved her. Before you decide to take someone home or let them stay at your place, think twice about it.
Okay, I saw a girl on TikTok do her Hinge horror story and it triggered some of my PTSD, so I'm going to be doing one of mine for y'all. So this was my freshman year. I decided to download every single dating app that there was because college men just were not it. And look, let me be your big sister and tell you this. If you're in college, about to go to college, about to grad, do not get on no dating app. It is literally a Canaan event to download a dating app and meet literally the man of your nightmares. Because I met mine. And it just so happened he was a part of the army. So we matched and we, started doing a little small talk on Hinge. I was texting, but I wasn't really texting for real. Because the app, when you first download dating apps, it's they just throw anybody at you. So it took a lot of swipe to finally come across him. And once I did, we had small talk here and there, whatever. And then we decided to move it to iMessage and we started talking some more. And then he was like, oh, I want to take you out to eat. Cool. We go out to eat and everything's great. And then he takes me back to his apartment, whatever. We go in there, meet his dog and whatever. Dog's really cute, cool. Go to the room and we just go to sleep. Nothing happens. So this continues. We would go on dates. We would go out. We would just do things, always spending time together. And I was really thinking that this was the one, y'all. He would get me flowers. He would get me gifts. He would show up to my dorm and stuff, super duper sweet. I was thinking nothing was wrong with this man, or so I thought. One faithful day, I don't know why he decided to do this, but he asked me if I had Snapchat. And I had Snapchat, but it was when I was in middle school, high school-ish. So I really only keep it just for the memories. I don't use it that much. So I was like, yeah, but I don't use it. So he said, add me on there. Cool. I add him on Snapchat and he sends me a video. And the video is him engaging in sexual intercourse with some other girl. And I can clearly see it's him and I can clearly see it's another girl. And he's like, can I do this to you whenever yeah. So obviously I am confuzzled. I'm beboozled. I am just sitting there livid looking at my phone why would you send me this? Even if it's not recent, why would you send me your tape with another girl? It wasn't making no type of sense, y'all. So I did not even give him the time of day. I blocked him his number. I blocked him on Snapchat. I blocked him on Instagram. Blocked him. I blocked him and kept it pushing because I was like, there's just no way you just disrespected me like that. And you know what this man decided to do? He then decides to create a Text Now account, spam my phone, telling me to unblock him, saying he was sorry, whatever. Then he went on Facebook, found my Facebook, texted me on there. Went on my TikTok, found my TikTok, messaged me on there. And the kicker of it all is he found my business email and emailed me telling me to unblock him. And then like the messages literally went from I'm sorry to you're overreacting, like why would, like what's wrong with you, like it's my fault. But yeah, him and I have not spoke since then. Actually, what like kind of triggered this memory as well is that he had actually like commented under one of my videos, because I guess it popped up on his For You page, and I blocked him off there as well. But yeah, don't trust any of these dating app men.
Basically, my mom was going to get married to this man. Well, they did get married. But before they got married, they decided to do everything that they were supposed to do. They didn't sleep with each other. They had a big church wedding. They even went and got tested for STDs. At the STD clinic, they stood in front of each other in front of the doctor. She said to him, "Oh, I'm clean. I'm good. I'm tested. I don't have anything." She said the same thing for him. She didn't look at the papers. Thought nothing about it. They get married. They even moved to South Carolina. Mind you, we're originally from Florida. They get married. I don't go with them. I'm like 5 years old at this time. My mother gets pregnant, and so then she goes into the doctor. And they call her back afterwards. She's used to this because she has diabetes, and normally they call you back and say, "Hey, you have diabetes. You need to be more careful." No, they said to her, "Hey, you have HIV." She was like, "What do you mean I have HIV? I've been with the same man. What do you mean?" Mind you, this is 2005. They don't know as much about HIV as they do now. And so primarily that happened with gay couples. But gay people aren't the only people who can get HIV, of course. So she finds this out and she's like, "Oh my God, what?" They also tell her, "You're pregnant with twins." So she doesn't tell anybody for about a month just because she's so stressed and like, you know, she's in shock. And so she finally tells him, and the first thing he says is, "Please don't tell anybody." And he also told her, like, "No one else will love you. You have to stay with me," all this crap. She calls my grandparents. They come and get her. She takes everything she came into that marriage with. And the only thing she left him with was a microwave. Period. She comes home and she tells a few family members. And so my aunt calls her and is like, "Hey, turn on the news." There's a story on the news where one person knowingly infected the other person with an STD. And they got prison time because it's illegal. So then she realized, hey, this is a crime. And so we have a family friend who's a police officer. She tells him and he's immediately like, "Oh my God," like, "Oh my God." He starts crying. He immediately goes, "We need to get him on a two-way call and have him admit it. If he admits it, then we can get him in trouble with the South Carolina laws instead of the Florida laws." And the reason they were trying to get him in trouble with the South Carolina laws is because South Carolina gives a bigger punishment than Florida. Are we shocked? No. So she gets him in this two-way call and they start talking, and basically he's being not a good person. But she gets him to admit it, and that's very important. They send out a national warrant for his arrest. He's from a very small town, Greenville, South Carolina, right? So in Greenville, South Carolina, on the news, they're like, "If you slept with this man, you need to go get tested." Why? That same day, the testing line is out the door. Out the door. Everybody's going to get tested because everybody slept with this man. He slept with and knowingly infected over 200 people. Right. I was like, what? Oh my God. 200 men and women. So not just women, baby. It's insane. That is a crime. One of the people he slept with was his boss. He worked at a pretty big company. I think it was like something. I don't know. It was a big company. He slept with his boss. The boss went to go get tested and found out she was infected. When she found out she was infected, her partner also found out they were infected, but she didn't talk to him. Like, this woman ghosted everybody because she was just so in shock and she needed to process it. Mind you, this is a pretty big deal, you know? And so she wanted to process it. She didn't talk to her ex at all. And so we're going to pause that story for a second and jump to now. A few months ago, me and my mother had to go back to Greenville, South Carolina, where most of this took place, and go to court because he hadn't been paying child support for the twins. As we go here, it's just such a synchronistic day. And we're meeting so many people and like just talking with them and having a really good time. We start talking to this one lady and we're like telling her this story because like it's just the vibe to share. It's a very interesting story. So we get to the part of the story that me and you are in right now. And my mom is saying, yeah, he slept with his boss and she found out she was infected. She completely ghosted the guy that she was with just because she was in such shock. And he was also in shock. So this man is just going crazy because it's like, she won't talk to me. I'm also infected. I don't know anything. And so we're telling the lady the story. And my mom goes, yeah, so my ex-husband's boss is walking out of her garage on Mother's Day. The lady that we're talking to, she goes, wait, you mean the lady that walked out of her garage on Mother's Day and her boyfriend shot her to death? Oh my God, that was my aunt. We're sitting here telling this lady this story, and then she starts finishing the story for us because the lady, the boss, that was her aunt. So we're just like, what the heck? What do you mean that was her? Like, what? Do you know how small of a world it is? And she was like, yeah, I was young when that happened, so I didn't really know like why she passed away or like what the true cause of her death was. I just heard that like it was a tragedy and he just went crazy and shot her. We had no idea that this was why, and it was linked to that case. So we're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. And the way everything just connected was literally insane, guys. Like, but basically the twins' dad, the one who infected my mother, he went to prison for about 5 years. He's out now and not paying child support. Obviously, that's why we had to go to the courthouse. But after that, my mom became an HIV advocate. She's really well known on Facebook. And I believe her face is in a bunch of like museums around the country. Oh, and she was so stressed from all of this and from finding out she had HIV that she actually had my twin siblings at 4 months. They were not supposed to live. Do you know how hard it is to have a baby at 4 months and keep them alive? It's a miracle. The twins do have disabilities now. Definitely probably as a result of being born too early. My brother has cerebral palsy and my sister has autism. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. We're all living now. Everybody's pretty fine. My mom, when she was an HIV advocate, which she technically still is, she'd go around speaking this story to schools, churches, anybody who like wanted her to come and, speak about it, telling people to practice safe, intercourse. And of course, always see the papers if you're going to get tested with somebody. Do not take their word for it. Oh, the biggest part is the doctor knew that he was lying, but couldn't say anything because of the HIPAA Law Privacy Act, which is so crazy to me. But yeah, we gotta finish up this green juice. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I'm gonna go make this and drink it. If you'd like to follow her Facebook is Renee Burgess Ladybird Live. Just look up the Renee Burgess story on YouTube or Facebook or honestly Instagram, and it'll pop up. Thanks for listening. Follow her for more story times.
No fucking wonder there's a male loneliness epidemic. You fuckers don't know how to date. This guy asked me, he was like, do you want to hang out on Thursday? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So Thursday rolls around. I'm waiting all day for him to text me when we're hanging out, what we're doing, where we're going. And he never does. The day passes. It's Friday now. Friday afternoon, actually. And he texts me. He's like, so when can I see you? You could have saw me last night. But I didn't say that. Instead, I said, oh, I'm off of work at 5:30 tomorrow. Let's do something then. And he's like, all right, bet. Sounds good. So tomorrow comes around. Tomorrow is today. I get off of work at 5:30 and I check my phone. No texts. Right, we're supposed to be hanging out, but I have got no confirmation. Don't know where we're going. Don't know what we're doing. Don't know what time. So I text him. I'm like, hey, what are we doing? And he goes, I'm bad at choosing. I don't know. You pick. Bro, do not piss me off like that. Do not piss me off. Luckily, I am full of ideas. So I spew a couple. I'm like, do you want to make slime like it's 2016? Or do you want to go to this haunted house? Please, I really want to go to this haunted house really bad. I love Halloween. And he's like, oh, that haunted house looks fun. And I'm like, right? I love haunted houses. But he says, but usually haunted houses aren't that scary. Okay. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Are we going or not? So I was like, okay, well, if you want to do something different, like, pick a plan. Make a fucking plan, baby girl. So then he asked me, do you have Netflix? Yeah, I do have Netflix. Why? What's your grand idea? And he goes, how about we watch the scariest movie on Netflix? By the way, I can't drive tonight. Oh, so you want me to drive 40 minutes across the city to your house with my car, my gas money, to Netflix and chill on the first date? First, with my Netflix account, mind you. I think the fuck not. No. And I was rooting for this one. I was really rooting for this guy. He was so cute. He seemed so nice. He thought I was funny. But oh my fucking God, bro. Where's your fucking spine? Sorry, 3 strikes, you're out.
10 days ago, I decided I was no longer going to romantically try to pursue my ex like she originally wanted because this girl cannot control her sexual urges at all. I don't know if the bitch got a porn addiction, a sex addiction, or bad coping mechanisms. It's probably a combination of all motherfucking three. But the bitch can't keep her dick in her fucking pants. Or out of other bitches. Or out of her hand. For context, she's trans. So, that being said, I'm gonna say 13 days ago, actually. Me and my ex were on the phone because we were friends. She has been pursuing me for over a year and a half, and I finally decided, you know what? I think we were a great couple. We are great friends. I think we can try it again. So I decided that we could start trying to talk again. And we have been doing this since maybe about February or March. And we were on the phone a couple weeks ago. She had this porn account on Twitter that I had no idea about until recently. Mind you, me and her were together from November 13th, my birthday, 2021, to December 22nd, 2022. We were together for 13 months, y'all. Keep this in mind. For 13 months, this bitch behind my back had a porn account with over 1,000 followers where she was retweeting porn, following porn stars, commenting on porn star shit, interacting with porn stars, just literally anything you could think of with a porn star, she was doing it. And I had no idea until about 4 weeks ago. And so she told me that I froze. Because I literally never would have expected in a million, billion, gazillion years that this ex specifically would be the one that was micro cheating on me the entirety of our relationship. So she told me that, and I decided, you know what, we can still be friends. I can't really be as mad at this because it was forever ago when we were together. We can still be friends, but you still have a porn addiction. You still have a sex addiction 3 years later, apparently. And I just don't think a romantic relationship is okay between us right now. Now, for more context, while we were talking, she lives in Atlanta and I live in Tampa. I told her, while we're in our areas, you can do what you do and I'll do what I do. Just make sure we're both honest with each other about it, because that's all that matters to me. Just be honest and be safe. So I'm an open book. I told her about every nigga I was fucking with, every bitch I was fucking with, and everything in between. I hide nothing. I'm an open book. This girl would just lie and be like, a friend. So she told me on a Monday night this news about her micro cheating on me. Then I didn't speak to her on Tuesday or Wednesday. Or no, I didn't speak to her Tuesday, and then I only spoke to her for about an hour on Wednesday. Wednesday morning, she texted me and was like, oh yeah, I'm going out with a friend to the mall. I immediately knew that was a bunch of bullshit because she said a friend. And we've literally had a conversation before where I told her, I know you're lying because you'll say a friend. Bitch, you didn't even try to hide it. So come Thursday morning, I'm off of work and we finally get the chance to get on the phone and talk. And she's telling me about what happened on Wednesday and why she hasn't been texting me and whatever else. And then she gets to the part where she hung out with a friend. And she just blatantly tells me, yeah, I fucked somebody from work and then we went to the mall. Wait a damn minute. So you told me you were hanging out with a friend. That's what you told me. Even though I said we could both be honest with each other. That's what you told me. Then next day you feel bold enough, you feel so inclined to be like, yeah, so I actually fucked my coworker and then went on a date. And you didn't even respect the girl enough to take her on the date first before you fucked her. She should have some respect for herself. And after she told me that, I just completely blinked. I completely tweaked. I was so mad I was bawling. Because how is it that you just told me 2-3 days ago that you were cheating on me basically the entirety of our relationship? Then you go and fuck your coworker and lie about it. Now, mind y'all, I don't have a problem with her fucking her coworker. That's not the problem. The problem is you claim to care about me so much. You claim to love me so much and want to be with me and this, that, and the third, that you couldn't even have the decency to let the situation settle before you went and stuck your dick in something else warm. And then when I was on the phone tweaking on her about it, it was, oh, you said you just wanted to be friends. You said we were just friends. You said you didn't want to be with me. Yeah, bitch, because you're a fucking sex addict. What the fuck? And you went and proved my point by doing exactly what you've been doing. So the reason for this video is because she made a post on Twitter a couple days ago, maybe about a little over a week ago. Actually, I'll show y'all what I said. So this is her reply, obviously, and then this was my reply. Mind you, I had her blocked on everything after I tweaked on her. But you know Twitter still lets you reply to people's shit. So you see that was on the 3rd. She got off of Twitter for about 5 days and came back to Twitter on the 8th, and I guess saw my reply, and this is what she said. I wish I was as evil as motherfuckers want me to be, bro. Oh my God. I should have terrorized you more. Matter of fact, you got off too easy, actually. And I have a big, huge, enormous, gigantic problem with that statement alone. Because, bitch, you've terrorized me enough for 2 lifetimes. 2. For you to sit there and talk about you should have terrorized me more, like you didn't almost get me to commit sewer slide. Actually, I ended up in the loony bin because I almost committed sewer slide because of you. And then when I told you that I was going to do sewer slide, you didn't reply. You left me on deliver for weeks on end, all because you told your friends in a group chat that I was thinking about doing it, and they said that if I was serious, I would do it and that it had nothing to do with you. So you didn't reply to me. Y'all don't understand the shit that I have gone through with this bitch, bro. Y'all don't understand. And the reason that I'm even getting on here and doing all this, regardless of how long this video is because I will not continue to let her sit up and lie and act like she's this kind-hearted person, because she's fucking not. I refuse to sit up and let people lie when I know the truth. I know the truth. The North remembers, fuck bitch.
So I just saw this woman sharing her dating experience, and I'm going to play a clip of that in just a minute, but let me give you guys a quick backstory. So this woman goes out on a date with this man. He lives an hour away. They end up going to lunch, something simple, basic conversation, that's fine. He calls her the next day and is like, I'd like to see you again. And she's like, okay, that's fine. So he drives again an hour out of the way to come to visit her, and he comes to her house. And she's like, you know what, there's a great event going on nearby that we should go to. I'll even buy the tickets. He's like, no, I don't really want to do that. I'll probably get over there way too late to do that. So anyway, he arrives at her house, and they're like sitting outside at first, and he's like, it's hot out here. So then she invites him in. He comes in and he immediately gets comfortable, puts his feet up on her coffee table, grabs a beer out of the fridge, and she's just like looking at him like, man, he got comfortable in my house quick. So she's like, trying to suggest different things they should do. And he keeps saying, no, I'm comfortable right here. Anyway, as a matter of fact, you're out of beer. And she's like, what? So child, she's like puttering around her house, folding laundry and all of this. She goes to her bathroom, her private bathroom in her house that she pays for. And this is what she finds.
I go in my ensuite, my bathroom in my private bedroom, and I notice there is a toothbrush and an extra bar of soap in my bathroom on the counter. So I said, is that yours? Knowing it was. And he said, oh yeah. He said, I was just going to stay over. He says, long drive. I said, it's only an hour. It's not a long drive. Date number 2.
Can you imagine? This man done helped himself, got his raggedy bar of soap, and put his toothbrush next to hers on a second date, talking about, I'll just spend the night. oh, no, you won't.
I'd had all the acting polite that I could take, and I just let him have it. I said, you're rude. You don't have any dating etiquette. You don't have any house manners.
And so the man says, I have a good job. And she says, look around. I have a good job too. This big house that you're sitting in, all these pretty things all around here, that's all me. So get out. The thing about it is, some of these men, they feel like they should get a return on their investment. That man took her to lunch the day before, and he thought that earned him a night stay at this woman's house the very next day. This man with a good job felt like he needed to get more. Like he paid for more for that cheap lunch, that cheap, simple lunch. What makes you think you're going to just put your toothbrush in somebody's home? Like some of these, the audacity is so rich, it's so thick, it's potent. Like you can cut it with a knife. If I told you ladies once, I will tell you again, and I will tell you over and over and over again until you get it. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to make a man comfortable. As soon as you're uncomfortable, let it go. As soon as that man was acting like he didn't have anything planned on the second date, he just wanted to lay up in your house, soaking up your AC, playing on your TV all day, got his feet up on your coffee table and all that. As soon as she felt uncomfortable, she should have told him to leave. You know what? This isn't working out. But she waited until she couldn't take it anymore. That toothbrush and that bar of soap was a deal breaker. But ladies, don't feel like you have to be nice. As soon as you're uncomfortable, call it. You don't owe this man anything. He drove an hour there and he could drive an hour back. He's not spending the night at your house on no second date because he took you to lunch yesterday. Man, so what about that lunch? Give him his money back if that's what he needs, but don't let somebody just make you feel uncomfortable in your own home.
I just want to talk about this horrific dating story that happened to me. A couple months ago, I went out with this man, and there were red flags, like, before I went out with him. Like, I felt like a weird vibe. Like, I was like, he seems, like, odd. But I was like, let me just be nice, because sometimes I have anxiety, and I'm, like, probably just having anxiety. So, first thing he says to me is, I don't care what bar we go to, as long as I could watch this game on the TV. And I was like, okay, that's, like, really rude. Like, you're going on a date. Like, what do you mean? Like, go hang out with your friends and go watch the game. Like, don't go on a date then. So I didn't answer him for like an hour when he said that. And then he like called me and he's like, do you still want to like go out? And I was like, yeah, I just thought it was like a little weird to say you want to watch a game. Like, we're going on a date. Like, are you going to talk to me or just watch the game? Like, should we reschedule? Like, I'm confused, whatever. So he's like, no, like, I'm going to hang out. Like, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we get to this bar and it was completely dead. And we're like laughing how this guy was like playing the guitar and like no one was there. So I was like, do you want to follow me to like this other bar that's like a little more fun and like lively? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he's following me to this other bar, mid-drive there, pulls a U-turn and completely ditches me, like doesn't say a word. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, this has never happened to me before. Like, nothing like this has ever happened. So I text him and I'm like, where did you go? Like, what are you doing? And he doesn't answer me. And then at 3 a.m, I get a text message from him and he was like, yeah, I just like didn't like how you looked. Like, I thought you were gonna look different. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what? I'm so confused, sir. But yeah. So I text him back and I'm like, no one has ever said that to me before. Like, good luck on your dating journey. So I hope he's doing well. Crazy cat.
I have a dating horror story that actually happened to one of my friends. She met this guy on one of those dating apps. Let me just start off by saying that dating apps are the equivalent of shopping at clearance racks. You know that everything's there for a reason, but somehow you still catch yourself looking through hoping that there's one decent thing left. Well, she thought she had found her one decent thing. From the first moment they met, they completely hit it off. She felt like he was too good to be true, which is usually another red flag. As time went on, she was like in her la la land, like newlywed stage where he could do no wrong, but things started to come up. She started to notice that not only did she didn't really know where he lived, she also didn't really know what he did for a living. All she knew was that for work, he constantly had to travel. Our alarm bells started to go off when he started to disappear for hours at a time. I had already mentioned to her spy fly because we had another friend have a dating horror thing happen to her as well. So she decided to look him up on spy fly. That's when she found out that not only did he only live about 15 minutes from her, mind you, he always told her that he lived really far away, which is why she never went to visit him, but that the house that he owned was under two people's names. His name with his last name and a female with his last name. She then, of course, looked up the female's name in social media and found out that he was actually married. Mind you, the guy had no social media presence. That's another red flag. At that point, she honestly felt like it wasn't even worth like her confronting him, so she decided to block him, but not before sending his wife all of the text messages that they had together, photos, and videos.
I was dating someone for a few months and we decided to take a trip together, and we've been no contact ever since we got back from that trip.
Oh, damn.
The things that he did that I do not like in order. Well, number one. Just for some, I'll give you guys a little context. On my flight, I misplaced or lost my lip gloss on the flight. I told him that I lost my lip gloss and I was mad, and he said that don't worry about it. He'll get me a new lip gloss. Cool. Immediately after buying me some lip gloss from Sephora, we go to Aloe because he wants to go to Aloe. I'm just replaying this in my mind at this point. We go to Aloe because he wants to go to Aloe. Oh, and at the time of the lip gloss, I'm gonna just tell y'all everything. So I only lost one lip gloss on the flight. So I feel like this is considerate. Me being a considerate person I am, y'all know how Sephora is. Like, you go in there, you gonna want to get more than one thing. So I was like, what's the max amount of lip glosses I could get? Before we went in the store, he was like, two max. I said, okay, bet. Mind you, I only lost one lip gloss, so there's still a win. So we go in there, I get my 2 lip glosses that I want, and it was this new lip gloss that I wanted to try that I also got. So I had 3 lip glosses. I gave him the 2. I told him, I was like, I'm gonna pay for this one, don't worry about it. Because I knew I wanted to try it. I'm at Sephora, like, fuck it. So he ends up taking it from me. I was like, don't worry about it, I'll get it. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. So we go to Aloe. He picks out whatever he wants or whatever. And when he grabs the hoodie, he was like, as we walk into the fitting room or something, he was like, are you gonna get the hoodie for me?
Fuck no.
Who? I'm like, are you on the phone? It's like, I'm trying to figure out who he's talking to because he can't be talking to me. He was like, are you getting a hoodie for me? And I'm like, no. He's like, are you getting it? He asked me like twice. He's like, are you gonna get the hoodie for me? No. As a fitting room, you gonna get the jacket for me? No.
Do you know how fucking dumb that sounds?
Like, my answer was staying the same. I don't know what he expected from me. Number 2. This might be petty, but leaving me in the Airbnb and not locking the door. Are you dumb? That's self-explanatory. We're not in a hotel. We got an Airbnb. Make sure the door is locked. Thank you. At one point, I noticed after, like, we came back from somewhere, a few hours went by of me just chilling in the house, and I noticed that the door was never locked. So I went and locked the door. Yeah, love that as a woman. Of course, favorite thing to do. If you want to be lazy, book a fucking hotel. The door locks behind you at a hotel. Thank you. Oh.
I have a lot of people asking me for updates on the date that I went on the other night, but I feel like really give you a glimpse into what my horrors of my life have been like. Why don't I tell you first about a date that I went on like 2 weeks ago, okay? So off the jump, I already knew that I would not like the man that I went on the date with. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I was like, it'd be a lot easier to let him down if I just went. Like, let me just be nice and go. Who the fuck? I have never done something like that in my life. I think I was possessed by something. Possessed by being a fucking idiot. It's like, when I first saw this guy, like, I thought he was cute, and then I saw him again and I was like, wait. And like, plans had already been made. I wasn't wearing my fucking contacts, so like, really, that's my own fault. Whatever. I go, and the night before, he calls me, and we had like a good conversation on the phone, but he started saying some weird shit like he could take care of me financially and whatever, and I was just like, okay, like, I didn't ask you that. Like, fuck. All right, give me $5,000 right now. Next day, we're going on the fucking date to the movies, and we get there, and he has to pay for parking and starts, like, going off about paying for parking. It was $30 fucking dollars, bitch. I would have paid it. I would have paid it. So it's like, clearly you don't have money, and I didn't even ask you if you had money, but, like, now I know that you're a fucking liar. Like, ew. Like, hello? So he gets, like, a million things to eat, a scary pizza, mozzarella sticks, like, just radioactive fucking waste. I low-key get disgusted when men eat really bad because I just think, like, I don't know. I just imagine their pee being bright yellow. Like, bright yellow and orange. I don't know. We go in the theater, whatever, sit down. I'm low-key thinking to myself, like, you know what? This is actually looking great. I don't have to talk to him. Fantastic. It's an AMC, so the seats go back. I put my seat back. I take off my shoes because I'm wearing fucking flip-flops. My foot is just out. What do I know? All of a sudden, why is my foot being grabbed like this? Just holding my foot. Why? I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why the fuck did he grab my foot right now? Like, huh? And then he kept just like rubbing my leg. Oh my God. Like, honestly, thinking about it is like giving me chills, like in a scary way. He literally, like, my hand is sitting on top of my leg and he grabs my hand and is like, I'm like baby barfing in my fucking mouth. Bitch, what year is it? 1850? That would, like, I don't know, maybe that would be cute from a man that I fucking liked. But from you? With my foot in your hand? He's, like, eating his fucking nasty-ass fucking mozzarella sticks. Grabs the top of my head. I felt like a rag doll, honestly. Like, I was just being grabbed left and right. Grabs the top of my head. Smooches right on the top of my fucking scalp. His mozzarella fucking stick mouth on my head, on my scalp. It was literally like being held against my fucking will.
This creepy story is for all my girls that are on dating apps, and if you're on a dating app, you're gonna want to listen to this story. This woman downloaded a dating app because she was just bored, and what happens next will make you double check and double think every single swipe and match you've ever made. Have you ever deeped that swiping on dating apps is literally a digital roulette? You're swiping on strangers, specifically strangers that are men, and fully trusting who they say they are. In 2012, this woman downloaded a dating app because she just went through a breakup and she wanted to get to know new people, go out there as you do. She started chatting to this new guy and they agreed to meet up for the first time at a local cafe. At first, he seemed like the ideal man. He was very sweet, really charming, he was good looking. As the date progressed, he then started mentioning details that she had not told him, like the type of dog she has and where she even lives. This really freaked her out, so she decided to end the date and she left and went home. That very night, when she got back home, she noticed a man standing across the street staring at her into her house. She just shut the blinds and went to sleep and decided not to report it. He actually quite secretly liked the attention, but then a few days later, she noticed him at the grocery store, and instead of this guy greeting her and saying hi, he just kind of walked around her and didn't make any eye contact and avoided her. After this happened, she quickly blocked his number and deleted the app. 2 days after this happened, a neighbor spotted an unfamiliar car parked on their street, and inside this car was a man, and he was parked inside this car on their street for hours and hours and hours. So this neighbor decided to call the police because it was just really weird how this guy was just there parked. When the police arrived to investigate what this man was doing parked on their street for hours, the man in the car tried to escape and he tried to drive away. However, the police managed to stop him. What they found inside his car sends shivers down my spine. Newsflash, it was the same guy that went on a date with this woman and was following her around the last couple of days. Police found plastic bags, gloves, duct tape, and several weapons. Fingerprints were taken and run through the system, and it came back with a match. Turns out he was a serial fugitive wanted in 3 different states, connected to the unsolved murders of 4 different women. This innocent woman who just downloaded the dating app to get over her ex was going to be next on his list.
One time I was talking to this guy on Bumble and he wanted to go on a first date and he wanted to go on a hike. And I know that's like a new thing now that people want to go on a hike and don't want to get a drink, don't want to do that. I was like, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to go on a hike. I don't want to go in the middle of nowhere in the woods with someone that I don't know. I was like, well, how about a park or something? He's like, no, I want to go on a hike. And I was like, okay, you're going to go on a hike by yourself then. I'm not going into the woods or into the middle of nowhere with someone I don't even know, sir. And he was like, all right, well, we can go for a drive then. I'm like, I don't want to go for a drive. If I didn't want to go on a hike, I don't want to go for a drive. I do not want to be alone with you, sir. That is not what we're going to do on a first date. Hello, people are crazy. So then he was like super pushy about it and I thought that was weird. And then he was like, well, that's fine. We can go to this park then. I'll pick you up. What's your address? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not giving you my address. You're a stranger. And he was like, why? I want to be a gentleman. Why won't you let me pick you up? And I was like, you can be a gentleman in a million ways, and you being super pushy right now is not the way to be a gentleman. I am not giving you my address. And he was like super aggressive about it. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to block you. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. So I blocked him on Bumble. Now, he didn't have my full name. He didn't have my phone number. All of a sudden I get this Facebook message and he was like, hey, sorry, I'm in the CVS parking lot. Someone pulled up next to me. He was like, hey, why did you block me? And I was like, bro, this is why I blocked you. First of all, you are super aggressive. You want to meet in the middle of nowhere. Second of all, you want my address. You're like, want to pick me up, whatever. And now you found me on Facebook. I do not know how. Like, I blocked you, and unless you had my images saved and then you Google image search me after, like, why did you even have my picture? Like, how could you even find me after Bumble? So then I blocked him on Facebook and he finds me on Instagram. And I was like, bro, you are boo, 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 like setting up all sorts of alarms. So then I got back on Bumble and I like reported him to Bumble and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. He's seems super creepy. He's super pushy about a first date. He wants to meet a first date in the middle of nowhere. He wants to meet in the woods. He wants to go for a drive, whatever. Now he's found me on all of these different forms of social media. So I blocked him. I blocked him here. I blocked him on all forms of social media that I can. And then I didn't hear from him again, but I was like, this is a little sketchy. So I have the guy's like information, and I am always like watching the news to see if maybe he pops up as like a serial killer or something. But I think I might post him on one of those Are We Dating the Same Guys and just be like, hey, alert, alert, alarms, like watch out for this dude because he wants to meet you in the middle of nowhere, wants your address, and then he gets really angry if you don't give it to him. A man left me at a bar after he found out I slept with a black man. So I met this guy online, and we decided that we were going to go on a date. We were only talking for a couple days, but it was going well, and I was like, hey, it's Sunday. What are you up to today? You want to watch some football? We'll get a drink. And he was like, yeah, for sure. So we met at a bar. We're hanging out. I am not one that's like, how many people have you slept with? What's your number? Blah, blah. We're fucking adults. I could care. Are you clean? I don't like, why is this still, it isn't a thing. But we were watching football, which led into a conversation about someone that I had slept with. And so we were talking about it, and he was like, what? And I was like, put back a little bit. And I was like, what do you mean what? And he was like, he's black. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking aware. So I was a little put off by it, but then he got like super intense, and he was like, you fucked a black man? And I was like, sure. Like he turned into like an exorcist. I was like, what? What? And to be fair, at this point, the date was over for me, but I was like, what is wrong with you? And he like went into this whole big thing about, I'm not even going to repeat all the shit that he said about like being dirty and all that. And I was like, what is wrong? So this is where I started planning my exit. And I was like, okay, how am I going to get out of here? I can't freaking sit here with this guy anymore. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Now, I drove myself, so I full on planned on whatever, leaving by myself anyway. But I was like, okay, I'm trying not to ghost people or be like a crazy person. He had my phone number, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I come back out, he was gone. I was like, that worked out fucking perfect. So I sat at the bar for the rest of the time. I met the bartender. Her name was Tara. We had a great time. And what in the actual fuck is dating?
I recorded this in 3 minutes last time, but we're going to do 60 seconds because I don't think anyone watched it all the way through, and every woman who dates men needs to hear this fucking story, okay? So a friend of a friend was going on Hinge dates, meets this guy, great rapport, great back and forth, great first date. He knocks it out of the park. He's like, second date, I'm going to cook dinner for you. She's like, don't gotta ask me twice. She goes over there, he cooks her dinner. He's like, I'm vegan also, so it might taste a little different than what you're used to, but I hope you like it. And she does. She likes it. It's good. He doesn't try to hook up with her, all green flags. The next day, she wakes up violently ill, projectile vomiting all day. Goes to the ER, they run a bunch of tests, and the doctor comes in the room and he looks at her really weird, and he's like, ma'am, have you consumed human meat in the last 24 hours? She realizes what has happened, calls the cops. The cops show up to his apartment. Turns out it's an Airbnb that he rented out under a fake name. It's cleared out. All of his social media profiles are cleaned. Ladies, don't let him cook for you.
This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago, and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this. I was living in New York City at the time, and I matched with a guy. For the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around, and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went. So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS, and it's really weird because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention, my car is the only car in the parking lot. So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rear view mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me. I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are familiar with.
Okay, so it was this one time where I dated this man that was schizophrenic, and I didn't know until me and him kind of got real close. I mean, like, real close. Like, the night that we got close, that was the night that I found out. And the way that I found out was I spent the night with him, and I seen, like, a pill bottle in his room, and something told me to see what these pills was for, because who doesn't check pill bottles and see what the pills are for if you see pill bottles? It's a sign. So I looked up the pill bottle, found out that it was for schizophrenia. Not gonna judge you. We all got issues. I didn't really know what schizophrenia was, as far as, how severe it can be or mild or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, he got that going on. And I swear to you, it seemed like as soon as I found that pill bottle and found out what was going on with him, shit just went downhill. So for some reason that night when I found the pill bottle, I didn't say anything to him. I was gonna keep it to myself and put it in my back record so I know I may not want to fuck around and find out with this one. Shortly, when he came back in the room, it's almost like he knew I seen the pill bottle, because it was like he just felt the need to come out with all his truth of his life. All right, so this story is gonna get real crazy, so I hope I don't offend anybody. So he comes in the room and he like jumps on top of me and he like covers my head and he was like, no, no. And I'm like, the fuck going on? And he was like, kid you not. He was like, yeah, my friend Charlie be telling me to hurt people and I killed 7 people. And, I told Charlie I'm not going to hurt you because I care for you. First of all, who is Charlie? So then he proceeded to tell me the story about how him and Charlie met. He said someday that he was driving on the highway and his car broke down. He couldn't find nobody to pick him up. He didn't have AAA. He was kind of close to a gas station, so he got out of his car and he started walking to the gas station from the side of the highway. He said it wasn't super far, but it was a little bit of a distance. He told me as he was walking, this is where he met Charlie. Like, this is where Charlie started talking to him. So he said that he started hearing Charlie. Him and Charlie kind of introduced each other, to each other, whatever. And they kind of been rocking ever since. So I'm trying to listen to this man's story with having a straight face, because I didn't want him to know that I was scared. Because you just told me you have an imaginary friend named Charlie that's telling you to hurt me, and the only thing that's standing between you and me and Charlie is you at this point. But you could go back to Charlie at any point. A lot more things happen with this man, but I just want the whole point of this story is that everything that look good to you ain't good for you. You need to check these people out. You need to make sure they don't have any mental issues. Not even just mental, just mental, spiritual. Because that man, he was fighting some spiritual wars too. And I got away from him as soon as possible, but that was a little after he threw me in a thorn bush or whatever. But that's a whole nother story. So my point is stay away from the crazy. Okay? Be mindful. Yeah. and use your discernment. Yeah, that's it. So that's why I'm not in a rush to be with anybody, because people got their own stuff going on, and you really do need to know people more than a couple seasons. You need to know people more than a couple seasons. Until next time.
I have debated telling this story for a few days, but all of my friends are literally like, this story is so wild. You need to put this on TikTok. This also like just happened this past weekend, so I am still processing what exactly happened. This isn't really a dating horror story in the sense that something bad happened. It's just the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. So a little bit of backstory. About 3-ish weeks ago, maybe a month ago, this guy and I met on Hinge. This guy and I start talking, we just initially clicked. Like, I don't know what it was, but we just started talking. It was definitely like an instant connection, right? Okay, so I live in Las Vegas. So he tells me that he is going through the process of getting into the firefighter academy out here in Vegas. And before you say anything, I know this was my first red flag. And he actually lives in the Los Angeles area, but he's coming out here. His dad lives out here. That's a key part of the story. He's coming out here to do like the last final things that you do before you go into the academy. And so he is out here this upcoming weekend for that reason. And so we agreed to link up and meet for a drink on Sunday night. And it was one of those first dates that you kind of leave and you're like on a high. Like, everything was so good. We had like an immediate connection, an immediate spark, and sincerely, that does not happen to me often. I don't date a lot in general. So I leave this first date, like I said, on a high. He kisses me goodnight. He's a great kisser. I'm like, this is fantastic. So he's driving back to LA the next day, and before he leaves, he stops by my house. He gives me a kiss and a hug goodbye, and he's like, I can't wait to see you again. Like, I'm so excited about you. And for the next 2 weeks when he was supposed to come out here, we are talking, texting, on the phone every single day, every single night. So like a week before he's supposed to come out here again and do like his last exam or whatever it is, I asked him, I said, you know, instead of staying at your dad's house, like, why don't you just stay with me that weekend? I know, okay? He's like, that would be great. So, you know, we can spend a lot more time together, get to know each other that whole weekend, whatever. So we're talking about him coming out here this weekend, and he's very much into sports. And so he's like, yeah, you know, like, I want to watch the game this weekend. And I said, well, I don't have a TV. Like, I just don't have a TV in my house. And he like makes a joke that he's gonna have to buy a TV in order for him to watch the game this weekend. And I think it's like a hee hee ha ha joke. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. Okay, so Saturday comes. He's flying out here this time, and the flight's only like 45 minutes to an hour from Vegas. 1 hour before he boards his plane, this man literally texts me out of nowhere, and he's like, okay, I bought the TV from Target. It's ready for pickup.
What? Wait!
Said, huh? What? Huh? He was like, yeah, you know, I told you, like, sports are really important to me. It's like how I relax. I watch the games like every weekend. And I was like, you bought a TV to put in my house? So I'm kind of just like, okay, all right, I guess. I sent him a picture of my living room, and I'm like, where are you gonna put it? You either need to buy a TV stand or like mount it on the wall or something. And we go back and forth, and he's like, I don't really want to spend the money on a TV stand. Like, we're just gonna mount it to the wall. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, so I'm getting like a little weirded out because that's, you know, a little odd. I don't know how the topic of finances got brought up. Oh, I think it had to do with the TV stand because he didn't want to spend the money on a TV stand. So somehow now we're talking about money and how we're gonna have like, you know, kind of a relaxing, like more chill weekend. And then he drops the bomb on me that we're gonna split everything this weekend, including dinner tonight. We're not going anywhere fancy, okay? We're going out for all you can eat $30 sushi. This man just bought a TV to put on my wall, and now he's telling me he can't afford to buy me sushi. So now I'm going from being a little bit weirded out by the TV to like full on panicking, like, halt the brakes, hold on. Now he's on the plane, on his way here, okay? As this is all going down, he says to me, he says, the TV's ready for pickup if you want to go get it. What the fuck? Dude, huh? I am panicking, okay? I live with a roommate. She's also my best friend, and I'm texting her full panic mode. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what to do. And honest to God, God love my best friend because she was my rock and my calm in this situation. She was like, don't panic. Like, just pick him up and let's figure it out when you get back to the house. So I picked this man up from the airport, right? And obviously, like, my energy has shifted a little bit at this point, but I'm trying to like stay positive in this weird situation. He wants to stop by his dad's house before we go pick up the TV at Target. Not only was I this man's Airbnb this weekend, I was also apparently his Uber now. And on the way to Target, I'm driving there and I'm just like, help me! This happened so fast, I didn't even have time to like freak out and be like, whoa, hold on! So we get back to my house, okay? He meets my roommate, unloads a TV. For the next 3 hours, this man is mounting a TV on my wall. His TV on my wall. Sitting there on the couch drinking wine watching him mount his TV to my wall.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
And we did not go get dinner, by the way, because I'm not about to split the bill with you, bud. We did get Chick-fil-A, and he did pay for that, so, you know. At this point, for my roommate, this is comedy. You know what I mean? She's got like a front row seat to a shit show, and she's enjoying it. So after, 3 hours goes by, and he's mounting the TV on my fucking wall, I'm a little wine drunk, and now I'm pissed off. And I'm kind of like, let's just go to bed. Like, I'm tired. So it is Sunday morning. Okay, bright and early. I'm not a morning person. All right, let me just say that. Bright and early at 6:30 a.m. This man wakes up to come downstairs to watch the game at 6:30 a.m. in my house. The whole morning, I am just pissed. The whole time, he's on my couch watching the game. This man has barely paid attention to me. The whole I can't wait to spend time with you, get to know you has gone out the window. Now it's like 10 a.m. Okay, I'm downstairs in the kitchen. My roommate's down there. He's on the couch. And I made breakfast for all of us because I'm a nice person. My roommate goes to a workout class, all right, after breakfast. And I kind of take this as my opportunity to like sit down with him on the couch. And I'm like, look, this is not how I thought this weekend was gonna go. And the only thing you seem to be concerned with is this TV and sports. You've barely looked at me. I will say, during this conversation, he was very nice, he was very polite. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I've just been so stressed out lately, and like sports is how I wind down, so I just wanted to watch it this week, whatever. And so, I very kindly and gently was like, you gotta pack up your shit and go to your dad's. He was like, I understand, all good. I took him to his dad's, dropped him off, because I'm the Uber. TV's still on my wall, so he's gotta come get that. I've officially given up dating, all right? This is my white flag. In surrender. I'm good. No more.
Let me tell you, well, I'm done. I'm done with the dating pool. I tried it once, and I'm not doing it. Let me tell you what just happened to me. And maybe I'm not mature enough, but y'all tell me. I went on a couple dates with this guy. Very fresh. New dates. The dates are all during the week sometimes, sporadically. Communication's very spotty. To the point we did have a conversation about that. And about intentions. He canceled one of our dates, our scheduled dates, to help a friend. This friend, it's a girl, of course. Friend's a girl, friend has kids. Okay? Help something happen, husband's out of the country. This was last weekend. Cool. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Hope everything works out. He's calling me, telling me like pretty much, I don't want to tell her business, but she was expecting something and now she no longer has it, if you kind of pick up, but I don't want to say anything. So I'm thinking like, okay, miscarriage or something, whatever. Let it go. This weekend, same shit. He's over there, and he doesn't just go to help. He stays the night, y'all. He stays the night. So, this weekend, same thing. He goes over there this weekend to help with the kids and how exhausted he is. Very spotty communication. How exhausted he is. It's Saturday right now, okay? It's Saturday. So, I'm all like... So, throughout the conversation, I'm keeping it real short because I got a gut feeling, and I don't ignore my gut feelings. And I was like... And I mentioned, I'm like, oh, isn't it your second weekend in a row of helping her? I'm like, where's her husband? Oh, he's out of the country. He's supposed to be coming back Monday or Tuesday. And my gut feeling, it was like pounding. And I'm sitting here, I'm already not messing with this. And it's already a female too. You staying over her house with kids, helping her, all exhausted. And her husband, she's having some emergency. And her husband was out of the country last week and still out of the country. What husband is that? What husband takes his time coming back if there's an emergency, especially if he knows there's another man in your house taking care of your wife and kids? See, wasn't adding up. And I said it. So I was like, okay. And I was keeping it short. But then I just asked three questions. I was like, I'm not holding shit in. I asked 3 questions. I said, were you ever intimate or had a relationship with this person? Is she in a relationship or married? Because I wanted to make sure. And then the third question was, are these kids yours? He responds, oh, I already told you I don't have kids. I don't know why you keep asking me that. And he's like, 12 years ago, we were in a relationship, but we've managed to stay friends. I really stopped reading there. And I said, oh, no, thank you. I don't have the capacity to do these. And there's just certain boundaries. And I'm not crazy or immature for thinking that because you've got it fucked up that you are going to, like, I don't know what boundaries you think that I have or don't have, or what boundaries you lack, but there's no way ever that this would work if you think that you're not even going over there to help. You're not dropping off groceries. You're not stopping in, watching the kids for 2 hours. No, motherfucker. You're over there for days and you're staying the night. That's crazy work. Like, that's not a boundary. Like, guys be fucking crazy. Because there's no way in a million years that I would be okay, or anyone would be okay with me as a female staying over a guy's house, helping him and taking care of his kids, and I was in a relationship with him before, staying the night. Like, in that situation right there, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then you know how I know that he knows what's up? Because when I said, oh yeah, I don't have the capacity for this, and I kind of like just said, like, I wish you the best, like, but I can't do this. He was like, okay, cool, totally understand. He's like, okay, cool, totally understand. I wish you the best too. I mean it. A motherfucker that responds like that so quickly, he know what he doing. I don't know if you in love with that girl, your ex, or if all of it's a lie and like those are your kids, or you guys are together or whatever and everything's a lie. I don't know which one it is, but I can't do it. And the fact that he responded so calmly, like, no way. No way. Because a motherfucker that wants you and doesn't want any miscommunication or confusion, calling me real quick. Because now you prioritizing and you dropping everything, and you're dropping everything for your ex. This isn't just a long, good time friend like you tried to play it out to be. No, it's your ex. You should have led with that. Like, no. Mm-mm.
So I'm in my car right now after a first date, if we can even call it that. I just had to tell this story while it's still fresh and the emotions are still percolating. This guy had messaged me for several weeks on and off sporadically, usually asking if I was free last minute. Finally, he commits to 2 days in advance and says, how about Tuesday night? Great, Tuesday night works. He suggests the bar, suggests the time. I say perfect. So we're both running a little late. It's fine. It's LA. There's always traffic. I get to the bar before him and the door is locked. Because of course, it's mid-December. Companies are having private parties. I don't blame him for that. But I tell him I think they're having a private event. The door is locked. There's catered food outside on the patio. Do you know of anywhere else? So he's taking forever to park, which, again, LA, it happens. Finally, he walks up, not looking totally unkempt, but the vest he's wearing, I find out he's doing house renovations. Clearly, he is painting in that fucking vest. So he tells me, I'm kind of new to this neighborhood. I don't really know what else is around. I had already looked in my phone while I was waiting for him. I say, I only see one bar within walking distance. Let's give it a try. Now, granted, I have had a very long day. No, a very long month, a very long quarter at work. I am so decision fatigued and tired of running the lives of grown-ass adults. But still, here I am, leading the way in this man's neighborhood. And so we get to the alternate bar. It's a little hole-in-the-wall place. I'm thinking maybe it'll be a little loud in there, not the easiest for us to have a conversation. But it's not anything super sketchy or out of the ordinary for a dive bar. But clearly, he's uncomfortable being there. I ask, do you want to get a drink? And he just kind of stands around and looks like, do I? But then I'm looking at the clientele, and I have no way to verify this, but I have a sneaking suspicion he's uncomfortable because most of the patrons are not white. And I'm like, okay, dude, I don't care if you want to stay or want to go, but for the love of God, just make a choice. And he's like, oh, we could maybe get a bottle of wine, go back to my place in my courtyard. And I'm like, how far is it? Clearly it's far enough that you had to drive here. So we start walking back. He had already told me about the shitty stuff he had to deal with today. He starts asking me about mine. And I'm just like, I gotta be honest, man. This shit is not helping. So we start walking back to the original bar where we met because they do have a little food stand where you can buy some beers and wine. And I say, okay, do you want to just grab a glass of wine or a beer here? And he's like, yeah, sure, we could do that. But, can I Zelle you? He's like, yeah, I was actually running late because I forgot my wallet. Can I Zelle you for the cost of a bottle of wine? And as a disaster of a human being who loses shit all the time, if that had happened to me, which it very well could, the first thing I would have said when I rolled up late would be, I'm so sorry. I could not find my wallet anywhere. I was looking for it, but I didn't want to keep you waiting any longer. But no, he doesn't mention it then, doesn't mention it at any point in the 15 minutes we spend walking around the block. And honestly, again, I get it. Shit happens. But what gets me, what really fucking gets me, is that there's no hint of accountability whatsoever. Not one utterance of, I'm sorry, I fucked up. That's what I find inexcusable. That and the potential racism. So I literally just look at him dumbfounded, like, seriously, bro? No, I don't want to zell you at this point. And he's like, oh yeah, let's just call it. And as I turn to walk to my car, he's like, oh, it was nice to meet you. And I'm like, let's be real here. Let's not pretend that this was cool. He just crosses the street, mumbling something to himself. Again, no apologies. And real talk, nothing about it shocks me. None of it. In the realm of dating horror stories, this wasn't all that bad. But it's just how pervasive and continuous it is. This man is 40 years old. And then people wonder why there's a male loneliness epidemic and shame women for choosing to be single. You think a sane person would choose to endure this? You want to complain how women are too emotional? Y'all are lucky I'm emotional. If I was thinking more logically, I'd have written you off a long time ago. And many women have. And you know what? More power to him. Because I don't begrudge any woman who doesn't want to spend her Tuesday night doing this.
Okay guys, I think I'm literally swearing off the dating apps. I went on a date with one guy. He seemed super normal. He seemed, like he had his head on straight. That was probably the biggest lie I've ever seen in my life. He calls me yesterday and he's obsessed, one, with my toes, and two, he's obsessed with the color of my bestie. He was like, I prefer it brown. Boy, I haven't even met my best friend and you think you're gonna find out what color? We've only been on one date, sir.
And because it's always good to laugh at oneself, let me tell you about the time that I wanted to date with somebody and they shit themselves in the theater. So this is a guy that I had been around, and he seemed really nice and normal, and I was like, yeah, let's go on a date. Let's do this thing. So he's like, okay, let's meet up here. Let's go to the Cheesecake Factory. First of all, I fucking hate the Cheesecake Factory because how do you have all that shit on your menu and how does your food stay good? And because I have a fear of having food poisoning, I made sure that, I always eat before a date because I don't want to be on a date and get sick eating something that I don't want to eat. So he's eating shrimp from the Cheesecake Factory. We have our little drink, he eats his little Cheesecake Factory shrimp, and then we go over to the theater that's like just a couple steps away. So we're in the theater and we're watching like some comedy. And I look over and this man is sweating from the top of his scalp, like all the way down his face. And I'm just like, are you hot? And I really wanted to ask him, but like the movie was really good. And we were in a really good theater, so the sound system was like giving what it was supposed to give, but somehow, even with all that sound, I hear this like, I look over and this man is not doing well. Like, he looks like he's about to have some exit plans from both ends. He turns to me and he says, I am so sorry. Can we reschedule? Sir, we're in the middle of the date. What do you mean reschedule? This man gets up and you can tell that he's clenching his butt cheeks and he waddles out of that theater. And I'm just like, what? Now, I don't hear from this man for like a year and I'm just like, that was fucking random. I don't understand what happened. And then I do run in him and he says, do you want to know something funny? And I was like, sure. And he was like, I shit myself in that theater that night that when we were on a date. I was like, stop. And he's like, no, I shit myself. Yeah, dating is a shitty situation.
So I usually don't do story times, but lately I feel like my life has just been going in such a goofy direction that like I think it's time, man. I think it's truly time that I need to tell my side of the story of how Atlanta dating has just been treating me lately. And before I disclose this information, no, I'm not saying no names. No, I'm not telling you who the people are. I will never ever expose these people. But if this ever grace they For You page, just know, yes, I'm talking about you. So first thing first, one thing I notice about dating in ATL is do not, I ain't gonna say do not, but for me, I can't date single mothers. Single mothers is one of them type of vibes where it's like, in the beginning, it's super cool. They super cool people. They super genuine people. But the last 3 single moms that I took on dates all asked me for money at the end of the date. And I'm talking about, like, not just on some regular, like, you know what I'm saying, let me just hold a little something. I'm talking about astronomical numbers. Date number 1. So, shorty, she's from Detroit. She got a daughter. She cool as hell. Like, just smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like, dumb, smooth little vibe. Super, super cute. Fine for real. I ain't even gonna lie. So, I had ended up getting her number outside this little event that I got invited to. And she was a little hard to get, but you know what I'm saying? It was worth it because, you feel me? She was fine as hell. We ended up going on a date. You feel me? I'm not going to disclose the place because, you know, it's going to get too specific. But we want to go into a little date. And we do our thing. We grab drinks there. We eating food or whatever. And everything is cool. I'm getting to know her. We talking about life, the way we was raised. Just like all type of cool shit. And then afterwards, we end up going to another little lounge. You know what I'm saying? Because she wanted to smoke. So, you know what I'm saying? Went to a lounge. Went to go smoke. We went there, chilled, vibe. Did the whole 9 yards. It was cool, I promise you. It was smooth, like, super smooth, like, great date. Afterwards, it's like, fuck it, we lit. It's probably like 3, maybe 4 in the morning around this time. It's late. We slide back to her crib. She realized that she ain't got no roll-up, so I was like, fuck it, let's go to the gas station. Let's go grab you something to roll up in, you know what I'm saying? Because, you feel me, I just want the night to continue, like, I just want to keep vibing with you because, you know, I'm just fucking with everything. Take her to the gas station, grab her some snacks, grab her some backwoods, you feel me? And, you know, everything's smooth. We go back to her spot, and I'm like, shit, like, what's good? Like, what you on? She was like, I mean, shit, we can go back into the crib. I'm like, yeah, show me a little tour, you feel me? Like, I ain't never been in there. I'm on my little corny shit. She like, oh, yeah, come on, you can come inside, it's cool. Bet. We go inside the crib, and the crib is cool, you know what I'm saying? Nice little spot. From the outside, it looked like the ghetto. But on the inside, it was actually super smooth, for real. I ain't even gonna lie. So we in there, we chilling. We end up going to her room. We chilling on the bed or whatever. And she playing music. You know, playing music, Ride Wave, it be a young boy, you know, just regular shit. And it was going cool. So she ended up smoking. We laying down, we vibing, you know, at some point, you feel me, we start, you feel me, kissing and touching, you feel me? So now, this where it get crazy. So we kissing, we touching or whatever, and you feel me, we getting into it. I'm talking about it's getting deep. She ended up climbing on top of me, and you know when you somebody on top of you, just kind of like rubbing on them, you grabbing on them, I kind of, you feel me, grab her ass a little bit, and she like, no, like, and I'm like, oh. I know what this is about. I already know what she finna say. She like, no, we can't do it. I'm on my period. I'm like, alright, well, shoot, like, that's cool, like, whatever. But then the liquor start beating my ass. I'm talking about it's whooping me. And I'm just like, man, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm horny as fuck. I'm bricked up in this bitch. So I'm like, shit, I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, I don't even care. I'll run a red light. Like, you bad as hell. We ain't even gotta tell nobody. Like, shit. Like, so she like, nah, like, I ain't never did nothing like that before. Like, I ain't never read no red light. And it's our first time, like, really kicking it for real. Like, I can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I respect it. You right. But I'm just sitting there chilling, and she still laying on top of me, and then she start kissing on my neck and like nibbling on my ear a little bit. You know, that shit do something to a nigga. So I'm just like, shit. Like at this point, maybe she is trying to do this shit, cause you know when you drunk and all your blood start going to your mans, it's like you really can't think no more. So I'm like, you sure? Like, you sure? She like, yeah. I mean, I feel like if we do, I gotta get something out of it. I'm thinking to myself, like, something out of it. Like, what do you want out of this? Like, cause I'm not about to eat you on your period. Like, that's fucking disgusting. Like, so what do you want out of this? She like, I mean, I ain't never did nothing like this before, so if I do it, I have to get something out of this. And I'm like, I know she not thinking about money. So she lay there for a little minute. She's still on top of me, and she trying to get closer to my ear, like she about to nipple on it again, and then she just whisper, "What about 2K?" 2K? NBA 2K? Like, you play the game? Like, you just want 2K? No. She was talking about $2,000 for me to hit on her period. 2K to hit bloody P. So I'm just laying there quiet. I'm in the straw. I'm just like, I can't believe she just said that. Like, there's no way she just said that. Like, 2K? She think this a fetish or something? Like, girl, I'm just drunk and horn. Like, this ain't no fetish, man. So she literally just see me, like, still as hell, not saying nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why the fuck would she say 2K? And then it hit me. It's towards the end of the month. This has to be her rent. Because there's no way she just saying a random 2K for no act. Like, 2K for bloody P? No, there's no way. It's had to be for her rent. So I'm laying there and I'm just like, she can tell I'm not fucking with it. So she like roll over and she kind of whispered to me again. She was like, okay, maybe we can do it for 1K. Bro, 1K? Oh my God, like, bro, you must really think I'm a goofy. Like, bro, 1K for bloody P. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not hitting you for 1K for no bloody P. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm just thinking about something laying there. I'm still quiet. And she was like, I think she thought I said something because out of nowhere she was like, okay, 1K cool. Let's shake on it. Hey, bro, I can't make this shit up. Bro, she told me that. She said, let's shake on it. Like, shake? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Bro, I literally was just like, all right, man, like, I'm out of here, man. I'm just going, you feel me? I'm just going to catch you later, man. I just got up out of there, man. And that's just one of the single mothers that asked me for some pay. But if y'all fuck with this, I'm going to tell you another story about a single mama that asked me for $2,600. Oh my God, bro. This Atlanta shit, man. This shit is sick. Y'all tune in, man. If y'all fuck with this, man, I got an even better story for y'all, man. This shit crazy, man. Y'all be safe.
One time I went on a date with a guy that I met on Hinge, and he had picked me up and we was in the car driving to like the spot. But before we went on a date, he was asking me, the little how get to know you questions, like 101 questions, like what type of food you like, what's your favorite color, what type of music you like, all of that. I specifically told him the day before the date that I'm not a fan of Spanish music. Like, I vibe to it when I'm drunk, but I love, like, soca, dancehall, reggae, R&B. Like, I love everything but Spanish music. No tea, no shade to y'all. Like, it's just not my preference. So, like, if you from New York, that means, like, I would rather go to a spot in, like, Brooklyn, Lower Manhattan, than go to a spot in Dykeman because all they play is Spanish music. We get in the car. He's like, all right, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to take you to a spot. And I'm like, yes, a man that knows how to lead. I don't even got to think about nothing. We just going to go to the spot, right? One of the red flags was he did not hold the door open for me. He was not trying to open the door for me. He told me that he doesn't open the door and he don't see the reason to open the door for a woman. Like, what does he get out of it? I was like, what? And he didn't tell me that until like after like I got in the car and I made a joke like you wasn't gonna open the door for me, like, you know what I mean? So now we in the car, he's like playing music and he's playing nothing but like trap hood, like drill rap. That's what it was. He was playing nothing but drill music. And I know you like, oh, if he a little young nigga, you know, it makes sense. He was 30. Yeah, he was 30 years old. So then he's like, what type of music do I like? So I put on my little soca, dancehall, you know, slow R&B type of music. He was like, oh, you a old head. Like, you like that old stuff. Then he was saying, like, he don't like soca music and dancehall music because it's annoying. But here's the kicker. That around the time when Nicki Minaj had dropped her album so she could go on tour, he asked me, like, oh, like, what's your favorite song off the Nicki Minaj album? And I told him, like, I didn't really listen to it because I'm not a barb. Like, it was Rod Wave, then, but I'm not a barb, so I didn't really listen to it to have a favorite song out the album. He said that I was lame as hell because I didn't know the Nicki Minaj songs. But apparently he was a barb, though, because he knew all the lyrics in every single song. And then he was flexing that Nicki Minaj follow him back on Twitter because he did, like, they did work together, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, okay. So me still blind as hell, not knowing where the spot is. We pull up to a spot. It's a spot in Dykeman. Nothing but Spanish music. There was so many red flags on this date, bro. As soon as I got home, I blocked him. So as we get in the spot and we sit down, I realized what the vibe was. Nothing but Spanish music. There's hookah, there's drinks, whatever the case may be. I always notice how people treat like service providers. I don't like when people treat service providers with attitude or entitlement as if you got to be served by them, because if I was a waiter and somebody gave me an attitude, I would have walked away. But he was basically mad that the server didn't approach us quick enough. Like, the place wasn't packed as fuck. Like, clearly she was busy. So that turned me off because, like, where's your patience? Like, this man had no patience whatsoever. Keep in mind, he's 30. Which reminds me, while we were in the car, I played one of my old head, like, reggae songs. And he pulled out Snapchat. He recorded it talking about what you know about this and posted it on his Snapchat. Oh, my God. He's a sassy man. So, anyway, back to the restaurant. We get to the restaurant. My second red flag, no, that was my second one, was him having an attitude. My first one was him basically being upset because, or calling me lame because I didn't know all the Barb songs. Actually, that's 4 red flags. The door not being open for me, the fucking Barb song shit comment he did, then the sassy ass Snapchat video he did to record the song talking about what y'all know about this, then getting mad at the waiter, and then by the 4th, this is the 5th thing. So basically, we sitting down at the table. The waiter comes to ask us what what I want to order. Instead, he asks me like, oh, what do you want to order? Or like, oh, go first or whatever the case may be. Automatically tries to order for me. He talking about I want buffalo wings and 2 shots of Henny. What? I don't even like buffalo wings. I think he ordered 2 orders of buffalo wings too. I'm like, I don't even order buffalo wings. So because I clocked his scene, we're just like, that's not what I'm getting. He was just like, oh, I didn't order for you anyway. Okay, so you gobble down them 2 shots of Henny and 2 buffalo wings. Your stomach gonna be on turn. Which he did. Like, he had both of them. And then I ordered my shot of tequila because I was a tequila girly and some fried rice or whatever the case. But as the night was going on and we were having a conversation, he kept trying to feed me shots. Like, he kept ordering drinks. And I told him, like, I didn't want to drink that much because I had work the next day. Anyway, he gets frustrated with this spot. He like, let's go to another spot because the waiter is taking too long to serve our drinks. So I'm like, okay, whatever. By this time, I'm a little mellow out. Like, his sassiness is not bothering me this bad because, like, I'm already, like, a little tipsy. So we move on to another spot. He tried to take us to another spot. The spot ended up being too packed. We didn't make it in. So I'm like, let's go to a spot that I'm about to pick. So I picked the spot, and the spot was so cutesy. It was playing dancehall, soca music, reggae music, like all the music I want to hear. They had hookah. Oh yeah, he was a hookah fiend too, which was also sassy. Like, I'm not smoking hookah, but you grown ass hell, you fiending for some hookah. He wanted hookah. So here's another red flag. We get to the spot. He's arguing on why he has to pay $10 at the door for me. He's like, oh, I understand if guys got to pay $10 to get in, but girls should be free. Like, why am I paying? That's not crazy. Why am I paying $10 to get her in the door? Bro, just pay the $10, bro. Like, the security looking at me, I'm just laughing. Like, this not even my man for real. Like, I was just embarrassed. So here's another red flag. We get there, he's complaining about the menu prices. He's like, oh, one, he's complaining about the music because I told y'all he don't like dancehall, he don't like soca, he don't like none of that Caribbean shit. He like, I don't like the music. Then he complained about the hookah. The hookah is whack. I got better hookah at home. Okay, you fucking hookah warrior. Then we get the drinks. He complained that the cups are too small. All of this for the drinks. Da-da-da. When I tell you complain, everything he had to complain about. So now I'm tipsy and I didn't pay for nothing all night. So I decided to get the next drink on me because he's just complaining. And he's like, oh my God, like I never had no girl do that for me. Like now I'm really gonna look at you different because I always had to pull out my car. I never had a girl pull out a card for me. Bro, for a $10 drink, bro, are you dead ass? So as the night is progressing, I'm enjoying myself at this point because now I'm in a spot that I'm more comfortable in. I'm vibing with the music. Like I'm kind of ignoring his presence because I'm outside to just enjoy myself at this point. I ain't pay for nothing. I'm cooling. But as the girl is like bringing me drinks because he's paying for them, I'm tipping her because it's a slow night and I'm a girl's girl. Like I could clearly see like she's not gonna make her money for the night because there's nobody in here. So I'm giving her money. This man got so mad that I was giving this girl money, bro. He was like, oh, why were you tipping her? She don't even deserve a tip. She not even giving us free drinks to deserve a tip. She not even making the drinks. You should tip the bartender. What's wrong with you? I think I tipped her like $40 or something like that. And I'm like, yo, bro, chill. Like, he's like, nah, because I don't like shit like that. You just giving her free money. It's not your money. Chill. So then, at the end of the night, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go home because clearly, like, you doing a lot. You already overstimulated. Like, I'm just ready to go. So while we're walking out the door, he goes to the bar, like the bartender, and we're just like, oh, my girl just gave the bottle girl or whoever she is, the server, a $40 tip. You need to go get your money because you deserve it. She don't deserve that money. I told her I don't know why she. My whole thing is, as a man, like, if you really felt like she deserved the tip more, why didn't you just go pull out $40 and give it to the bartender since you feeding for her to get the tip? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you causing a commotion? But yeah, the dating pool is ass, bro. He's 30. And I was wondering, because, you know, when they got a good job, no kids, look good, there's always something wrong with them. And I said that. I was just like, he's tall. He looks good. He has a great job, great car, nice apartment. Something's wrong with you. And that's what it was. You're sassy as hell. Sassy as fuck. But yeah, I'll post another story tomorrow. Bye.
This is the story of the one time I decided to go on a date with a younger guy and never again. First off, he chose to get drinks at Joey's. We live in Toronto. Out of all the bars, all the nice... You want to go to Joey's? Sure. And then prior to the date, we both talked about how much we love sangria. Buddy over here is chatting up the waitress like they're besties. I don't know what's going on. Am I here? Am I invisible? I don't know. And when she asks, what would you like to order? And homie says, 2 sangrias. I'm like, wow, a man in charge. He's ordering me a sangria because he knows I like sangria. Right? Wrong. This man ordered 2 sangrias for himself. And then he looks at me and he goes, what would you like? I'm so sorry. You're literally going to double fist sangria on a first date. This isn't real. This isn't real. I go, you know what? Sangria sounds lovely. And the whole time, he's just double fisting his sangrias. I don't even know what to think. I just want to get the fuck out of there. As the double fisting of the sangrias progress, homeboy's getting more messy. And at one point, he ordered a brand new drink and he knocked it all over my phone. Didn't say a word, didn't say sorry, didn't acknowledge it. So I just picked up my phone, dripping with sangria, wiped it on my pants, looked at him, nothing. Anyways, I promptly called an Uber, got my ass home, but yeah, never again.
Tinder date from Little Hell story time. He literally sent me abusive messages calling me crazy, saying that I used him and that I was basically nuts for no reason. So I'm 18 on Tinder. Matched with a guy, we're getting along pretty well. He lives really close, so I'm like, why not? Let's catch up. First date was like average, nothing that weird. Although he kept winking at me, being like, haha. And I'd be like, what? And he did it like 5 times. And I was like, hey, can you stop winking at me? I don't know why. Like, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. And then he's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, all right, whatever. Also, important part of the story, he told me that he was a virgin on our first date. And I said I didn't care, obviously, because why would I care? Anyway, second date. This is where it gets bad. We go bowling. A girl that I know, we're not really friends. We're more like mutual friends. She sees me at bowling and she's like, oh my God, hey, like I'm here with my boyfriend. I'll introduce you to him. She brings over her boyfriend and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Whatever. So the guy that I'm going on a date with, let's call him Bob. So Bob and I are walking out of bowling and he's not speaking to me. And I'm like, Bob, what's wrong? And he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Kept saying, don't worry about it. And I was like, just tell me. And he was like, well, you could have like introduced me. I've known you for 2 days. I'm not introducing you to my friends or someone that is not even my friend. Honestly, if he said it in a nicer way, I would have just said sorry, but... Anyway, so we're driving home and he's like, Annalise, I have to tell you something. I've lied to you. And I'm like, what have you already lied to me about? I've known you for 2 days. So he pulls over the car dramatically and he's like, obviously I'm not a virgin. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm so embarrassed. Like I went clubbing and I lost my virginity to this like 30-year-old. I'm so embarrassed, so embarrassed. So I was like, okay, that's kind of odd that you lied about that. But anyway, so he's driving me home and he sees a group of people he used to be friends with. So he's like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't invite me. So he parks in front of them and is just spying on them, staring at them whilst I'm in the car. So I'm just sitting in the car like, what is happening right now? Whilst we're in the car, I just wanted to make it very clear with him, like, hey, just letting you know, I'm not interested. I just got out of a relationship. I just got cheated on. You know, just not looking for anything at the moment. So I thought it was very clear that I didn't want to speak to him again. Anyway, drives me home and he's like, I need to ask you something. And I'm like, what do you need to ask me? He's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, just tell me. Like, just tell me. I hate beating around the bush. And he was like, when would you be ready to like do stuff with me? What? So I was like, I don't know, like maybe tomorrow, maybe never. I meant never. I get home, I'm barely messaging him because I'm weirded out, confused. He's just kind of rude and odd. I'm still replying here and there just to be nice. Eventually he sends me a paragraph like this bloody big saying that every time he goes on dates with girls, he gets used. That he's such a nice guy. He doesn't know why this happens to him. That I've used him for nights out. Also, I'm pretty sure I paid for the second date. So it was like 50-50 paying for dates. So I didn't use him for anything. And he said that I used him for nights out. And I was like, why would I use you for nights out when I can have nights out with my friends? And then he was like, why would you even go on a date with me if you don't want a relationship? And I was like, look, I didn't know what I was looking for. I just wanted to go on a date, meet a new person. It made me realize, you know, like I'm still in love with my ex, okay? I'm still in love with him. We'd only been broken up for like 3 months, so like kind of valid. And then he was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Like, I can't believe you've said that. Like, what you're saying is nuts. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I just said in the nicest way possible, hey, I'm not interested. Best of luck. I still have feelings for my ex. Sorry. He proceeds for the next... This was in 2019. He proceeds for the next 3 years to message me. Like every 6 months, yeah, he would message me like, hey, how are you? Or like message me on Instagram and be like, oh my God, hi. And then he would delete the message when I wouldn't reply. Like, sir, it makes sense why this happens to you when you lie about random stuff on first dates. Say that I'm using you for dates when I paid for half the dates. Like, what? If you want more story times and you got through this whole video, feel free to follow me. I have plenty of juicy story times. Also, if my mum is watching this, I'm so sorry. This happened like 5 years ago. And I didn't tell you that I was going on this date because I knew you wouldn't let me go. Love you, Mum.
Babes, I went on one of the worst dates of my life recently. Here's the story time on it. So I had matched with this guy, let's call him Craig. He was very cute, tall, blue eyes, great body, owned his own business. He had a trucking company and he had this beautiful golden retriever. Obviously, I'm thinking, wow, this man has a dog. Clearly, he can't be a psychopath, right? I make it a point that I always FaceTime with people. If I'm going to allow them to be in my presence in person, then I need to make sure that we vibe first on FaceTime. We FaceTime. It's actually a very good conversation. We talk about a lot of stuff. We talk for maybe like an hour. He seems incredibly sweet, funny, witty. We have very similar humor. And he introduces me to his dog on the FaceTime. 8+ points. Off to a good start. We plan a date. We're going to go have drinks at this cute cocktail bar. And then afterwards, we're going to go to this high-end pizza restaurant that's near his place. He lives on the west side. I live on the opposite end of LA. I tell him to send me an Uber, which on a first date, I always make sure that I give them an address that's a street over in case I do end up being a crazy person. The day of the date comes, I get in the Uber and I text him that I'm on my way. He texts me back am I gonna get a little kiss from you when we meet? I'm like, presumptuous, sir. I'm already on my way, so I'm like, he better be joking. So I just say, no man has ever been so lucky, and I leave it at that. I arrive, he's waiting outside for me. I walk up, I give him a hug. Because he's so much taller than me, he kind of like lifts me up. And then he puts me back down and tilts my head up to look at him. And I'm looking up at him and I'm like, hello. And I'm like, is this man gonna actually diabolically try to kiss me right now within the first 3 seconds of meeting? Oh, he does. Because he leans down and I lean and I give him the cheek and I'm like, whoa, 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 sir. I don't know where you were raised, but that's not how we do things around here. And he starts laughing and he's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, strike one. But I was just subjected to a 45-minute Uber in LA traffic, so I need to get a drink and then we will reassess what we're going to do next. We go inside the bar, it's cute. There's not a lot of people though. Craig is like, okay, let's go sit at that booth over there. The furthest one in the corner. This man is trying to take me to Egypt. I'm like, why are we sitting in the darkest corner of this bar away from all of civilization? And he's like, well, I just want some privacy so that we can really talk. I'm like, sweetie, this whole bar is private. There's nobody here. We go to the corner, we sit down, he slides into the booth next to me, and I'm very bubbly and chatty, so immediately I start talking about the horses that I saw in my Uber ride on the way here because I love horses, and I'm like, they were so cute, blah, blah, blah. He's like, wait, just stop talking for a second. Did this man just tell me to shut up? And I look at him, I'm like, I know you did not just tell me to be quiet. And he's like, I'm sorry, no, I just want to absorb your presence really quick. So can we just like be in each other's aura for a second? I'm like, sure, but let's get one thing clear. Don't ever interrupt me or tell me to be quiet again. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. We sit there and he puts his arm around and he starts touching this shoulder bone. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I just love how lean you are. I'm like, bitch, I am not a piece of meat. And he's like, yeah, you're just so tiny. Like, I just didn't expect you to be so tiny. And I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't expect you to be so forward. So at this point, I'm obviously debating if I'm going to leave, but I need to get a drink first because I have just spent almost an hour in the car and now I'm being subjected to this man. So let's have a drink, sis, decompress, and then we can revisit what we're going to do next. Waiter comes, I order a whiskey on the rocks. Craig orders some fruity ass drink. And he's like, wow, I didn't take you as a whiskey girl. And I said, well, I didn't take you as a fruity ass drink guy, but here we are, Craig. And he did not like that, and I was laughing. Drinks come, we're chatting. I ask him about his business, and he tells me that one of his trucks had caught fire, and he pulls up his phone to show me a photo of it. When he pulls his phone out, I see, boom, 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 3 notifications. Bumble, Meet Cute, Raya, whatever. All the dating apps just started blasting on his phone. People are super liking him, and setting his ass on fire. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, bro, really? And he's like, sorry, I forgot to turn the notifications off for our date. My bad. Did you turn yours off? And I was like, I never have notifications on for Hinge in general. I don't care and I barely check that thing anyway. So we have our drink. Obviously, I've already made up my mind that I'm never going to see this man again, but I'm debating on whether I still want him to get me dinner because I am really hungry. At this point, I'm like, well, clearly we're here just doing it for the lore, so let's just roll along with it and see what happens. He's like, okay, our reservation is 10 minutes. We can walk there. It's right down the corner. Let's go. We walk. I am in the world's worst heels that I had just bought, these new Louboutins. It is insane that shoes can be so expensive and not be made for comfort because we get to the restaurant and my feet are screaming at me. We walk up to the host stand. He gives his name. The host is like, okay, it's just going to be like 3 or 4 minutes. He's like, great. He walks and stands next to the host stand. And I go, I'm going to sit down. My feet hurt. So I turn. This man grabs me by the arm and spins me around. And he's like, no, you can wait up here with me. I was shooketh to my core and there were people around us and I looked at him and I said, take your hands off me right now or so help me God, I will scream and make a scene. He takes his hand off of me. I go sit down. I am fuming. I'm like, okay, clearly the food is not worth this. I am going to tell this man that I am going home. He walks over and he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh no, you are dead to me now. And he's like, look, I'm really sorry. It's just that I paid for drinks, we paid for your Uber, I'm gonna pay for dinner. The least you can do is stand up at the host stand with me. I said, I don't owe you a damn thing. If my feet hurt and I wanna sit down, I have the autonomy to do so. And you should not be telling anyone what they can and can't do in general. I start kind of going off on him. I'm like, you are a chauvinistic, controlling freak. And it's no wonder that you have to be on so many dating apps so that you can find someone that will spend time with you. I'm kind of getting loud and he's like, okay, keep your voice down. I'm like, again, you're telling me what to do. And he's like, look, I'm really, really sorry. He's like, I am just used to women that are a little bit more docile. I'm like, ew, is that what you're looking for? And he's like, well, you're just very sassy. I'm like, oh, God forbid a woman have opinions and want autonomy. And he's like, look, let's just go inside and have a nice dinner. I promise that I'll behave. I'm like, I want to go home. I can't believe that I even let this go as far as it has. He's like, look, let me just feed you. Now I am starving at this point and pretty sure that I hope that this man falls off of a cliff. But I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna rack up a bill on this motherfucker, let him feed me, and then I will dos vidanos and never speak to him again. We go sit down. He's like, oh, this meat lovers thing looks great. I'm like, dude, I've already told you that I'm pescatarian. He's like, wait, so that means you don't eat meat? I'm like, I don't eat land animals. And he's like, oh, that must be why you're so lean. I'm like, I get a margarita and a mushroom. I asked the girl about wine. She's telling us about wine. And he's like, oh, I don't drink wine. And I specifically chose a red wine that only came as a bottle, knowing that this was only going to be for myself and I was probably only going to have one glass. And it is one of the most expensive ones. I look at him and I said, well, I want to get this one and it only comes by the bottle. And he's like, well, I'm not going to drink that. And I'm like, and I don't see what your point is. He sees that I'm not to be trifled with. So he looks at the waitress and he's like, sure, sure, sure. I'm sitting there and I'm just fuming, but I want to eat my food, drink my wine and get out of there. But you know what? Let's have a little fun while we're here. So I look at the man and I'm like, are you looking for some housewife that's just going to agree with everything that you say? And he's like, well, I just believe that the man should be the leader. What 1940s BS is this? I'm like, I'm sorry. Were you raised in a convent? What are you talking about? And he's like, well, I just believe that the woman should follow the man's lead because I really like that dynamic. I'm like, oh, so you want a trad wife? And he's like, what's a trad wife? I'm like, a traditional wife. And he's like, well, yeah, I like the traditional values in that sense. I'm like, yeah, and who did you vote for? And he's like, we probably shouldn't talk about politics. I'm like, you know what? That told me everything I needed to know. He's like, you are staring daggers at me. I'm like, yeah, because I dislike you greatly. Like, has no one ever told you that? He's like, look, I understand that my standards are really high. I'm like, no, your standards aren't high. Your standards are ridiculous because your standards belong back in the year the Constitution was written, sir. This is 2025. This is not how we do things around here. The food comes. I'm eating angrily. He's like, well, I guess that you're not one to obey. I'm like, obey? I am not a dog, sir. So I start yelling at him in the middle of this restaurant because I cannot contain my anger any longer. I'm like, you're someone that is the reason that this country is going to hell in a handbag because you are trying to revert us to a time where women didn't have rights. Because you're so insecure that you want to feel some sort of superiority over people that have less rights than you. And that's why you're alone and you deserve to be alone. People are kind of looking at us and I do not care. And I'm like, give me your phone. I'm calling myself an Uber. And he's like, what? No, our date's not done yet. And I said, call me an Uber or give me your phone or so help me God, I will make sure that the people down the street hear how I feel about you with how loud my volume can get. He's like, okay, I'm calling you an Uber right now. He calls me an Uber. I stand up to leave. As I'm walking past him to go to my Uber, he's like, well, I guess that you won't get to see how well endowed I am. I look at him and I say, do the world a favor, take yourself off the dating apps so that no other woman has to ever be subjected to you. I get into the Uber. I Zelle request him $500 with a memo that says for emotional damage. And then I block him and I never speak to him again. And yes, he did fill the Zelle request.
So, I'm seeing a lot of girls recently posting their Tinder horror stories on TikTok. But, like, the horror part of it is like, ooh, he's not 6 foot tall, or ooh, he drives a Toyota Corolla. Basically, just stuff that's not really that scary, right? If you want to hear a real dating horror story, listen here. So, I matched with this girl on Bumble, right? And we're chatting for like a week or so, and it's going well. So, we agreed to go out and get some coffee together. So, we meet up. She looks exactly like her profile, which is great. We're chatting and it's going well. I just don't see it going anywhere, right? Like it's going fine, but I just don't see us being together, right? So finish up the date before we split ways. I'm like, hey, I had a lot of fun, but I just don't see this going anywhere. Like you're a great person. I just don't see us being together. And she's like, okay, thanks for telling me. And we split ways. I hop in my car. I head home. I pull in the gate to my apartment complex and park, which is right next to the gate. And I hear someone yelling out of their car parked in front of the gate. And so I look over and I'm like, is that the girl I just went on a date with? And sure enough, it's her. She followed me home. It's a 20-minute drive to my apartment from where we were at. She followed me home and is now yelling out her window that I'm a piece of shit. How crazy is that? She followed me home. She didn't know where I lived. That's crazy. So, ooh, is that scary enough for you?
I am in full disbelief that this just happened to me. I need everybody to listen and tell me if I'm crazy or if dating is like this with everybody. And like, are men okay? Because I really don't think they are. I met this man on a dating app. We went out one time and had such a good date. He did not follow up with like a second date, but to be fair, on the date we talked about like being kind of casual. We didn't want to get into anything serious very quickly, but like he didn't really follow up very well. And I had like a lot of free time that I like wanted to fill with doing stuff. So I had asked him like to hang out. Could not get this man on like a second date for the life of me. He was super busy, totally fair, just moved, just got a new job, like had friends in town, like all this stuff. So I'm giving him a free pass. I'm like, that's totally fine. I'm going out of town for like almost 2 weeks. So I'm like, I just like wanted to do something before I was gone forever, but all good, whatever, it is what it is. And then he texted me tonight. It's a Sunday night. And I was like, okay, period. He was like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, well, I actually just got home from drinks with a friend, but I'm not doing anything. Like, and I'm like, it's Sunday night, but I'm down to do something. And he was like, oh, funny, I just got home from drinks with a friend too, like, and I responded, oh, so, like, another drink? And he was like, yeah, like, what are you thinking? And I was like, well, I know that like, these two places could be good or whatever, or we could go, like, get a bottle of wine, go to the beach, or, like, we could just go to someone's house. And he's like, I do have beer and wine, like, so, like, yeah, we could just go to someone's house. And I was like, well, I'm happy to come over. And then he doesn't respond. And this is not the crazy part. He's just like not responding. And I'm like, well, he's going to respond, I'm assuming. But like it's taking him forever. And I'm like about to call him because I'm like, maybe you thought like I would just somehow know how to get to your house. Like, I don't know. And then I'm literally this close to calling him. I need a confirmation. I can't just like start moseying over to like where he lives. I also don't really know where he lives. He writes me back and says, sorry, I've been having some internal deliberation. I don't know if I just laid down and I don't know if I have enough energy. You asked me to hang out, to come over. Like, I understand, okay, set your boundaries, babe. Like, do what you need to do, but don't ask me to hang out if you don't have energy for it. And then all I could muster up was, oh my god. All I could say back was, oh my god. And he was like, haha, I'm so sorry. Just relaying the truth. Sometimes you can lie. Sometimes you can take one for the team. Get up and do some jumping jacks. Get some energy, bro. And third of all, know thyself. Know thyself enough to know I might not have enough energy. Maybe I shouldn't ask her to hang out. He instigated. He texted me out of nowhere. We weren't even talking. I like, am I crazy? Is this crazy? Like, am I being too harsh? Because this seems, I mean, yeah, this is, I can't.
Put a finger down if you've been talking to a guy for a couple days and you've been on a couple dates with him and this is your third date with him and you decide to have a night in together. So you're having pizza, watching movies, drinking wine, snuggling, laughing, you know, expressing your feelings towards each other. You then go to bed. And while you're laying in bed with him, you're laying on his chest and he's texting another girl. And this girl has heart emojis next to her name. And he's texting her right in front of you. So you, of course, ask, hey, who's that? He tells you that it is his friend's girlfriend. Confused why her name would have hearts next to it if it's a friend's girlfriend, but okay, I don't know your friendships, whatever. She's asking him to come pick her up. She is drunk at a bar, she can't drive, she's throwing up, and she's constantly FaceTiming him, constantly asking him to come pick her up. I ask him, why can't the boyfriend just go pick her up? Why is she contacting you? He tells you that her boyfriend is in Orlando. Okay. So he keeps telling you that he's not going to take her. And then you start to fall asleep and he decides that he is going to take her. So he starts getting ready. You can tell because you're in and out of sleep, but you hear water running, you hear clothes rustling. You're like, I just remember thinking, I'm like, what is taking this guy so long to just go get these girls? Just throw on a hoodie and go, right? Finally, he leaves. It was around 12:30, 12:45-ish. I fall asleep. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and there is nobody next to me. He never came home. So of course I'm freaking out. I'm scared. I'm thinking like, oh my God, something bad's happened to him. You're looking up car crashes in the area. You're just standing in this random bedroom that you've never been in before alone. And you're like, what is going on? And then you remember, oh, he's with another bitch. So, of course, you grab all your stuff because what the hell? You grab all your stuff, you drive 30 minutes back home at 4 o'clock in the morning. And, of course, you text him and call him, and you're like, hey, where are you? And no answer, of course. And then at 6:30 in the morning, he decides to text you. What happened was he picked them up, brought them inside, had a beer, which if the girls were completely belligerent, why would you want to have a beer there if they're throwing up? Because that's what he was saying. They were throwing up everywhere, and he had to like pick the one girl up and take her inside. And I'm like, so why would you have a beer there anyway? After the beer, it was around 3-ish, and he went to go just shut his eyes in a gas station parking lot for about 15 minutes, and turned into 4 hours of a nap. He likes to call it a nap. Now, would that make sense? I mean, still no. But to make matters even worse, he works night shift. He's used to being up at night. And he lives 25 minutes away from downtown. Why do you need to take a nap in between that? Anyways, so of course, you don't believe any of that. So he left you in his bed alone to go sleep with another girl, even though he was already taken care of. But he needed more, I guess. Man needs more. I wasn't enough. That's fine. That's fine. So you call him out of his bullshit. You're like, I don't believe you at all. I'm never talking to you again. You're disgusting and literally fuck off. And so you're like, you know what? I'm going to try to find this girl. So this guy has 2 Instagrams because he's girly pop. And has a Finsta and a real Instagram. And he doesn't use his real Instagram. So he says, and his Finsta is what he follows you on. So you go look him up. He's blocked you already. Because, of course, I did something wrong here. He's blocked you already on his Finsta. And then you go to see his regular Instagram to see if you can find the girl. He deleted his entire Instagram. The entire real Instagram is gone. Does that scream guilty or what?
Have you ever had a first date so bad it sounds completely made up? I need to tell you guys about my first date from hell, and let me know in the comments what you would have done or how you would have reacted. So I ended up matching with this girl on Hinge, and she was super attractive, and we ended up talking for like a week before we finally planned a date. We decided, you know what, let's go get drinks on a Saturday night. We'll go a little early, like 7 o'clock, and we'll both meet there. Day of the date comes, I text to confirm we're all good, and I get there right at 7 on the dot. Text her, tell her I'm here. Karen responds, says me too. I go find her car, introduce myself, grab her door for her, grab the door while we're walking in, and we go sit at the bar. We order our drinks. We're having a good old time, just getting to learn about each other, figuring out our hobbies, very normal first date stuff. And conversation was flowing. So much so that we were 4 or 5 drinks in before I even noticed. At this point, like an hour and a half had already passed. I finish my drink, I order another one, and I go, Karen, I'll be right back, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, I come back, and oh my God, what do I see? Karen is in a full-scale screaming match with another customer. I'm in complete shock. I go over there to try to see what's going on. Also, my stuff is over there. And as I come back, I hear Karen go call whoever you want. I have him with me. I'm good. I'm thinking, oh my God, how did I just get brought into this? I walk right past Karen. I go close out my tab with the bartender, who's just frightened. And he looks at me and goes, dude, you got to control your girl. And I look at him back and I go, this is our first date. As I'm saying this, Karen pushes a chair into the other customer, and they're both screaming at the top of her lungs, and the bartender looks at me and goes, I'm calling the cops. This bar had no bouncers or anything to break this up, so he didn't know what to do. He called the cops and then went to try to break them up. The cops show up. They're still going at it. Karen is telling her to meet her outside, meet her outside, meet her outside. The other girl must realize the outcome of this because she's trying to tone Karen down. But the cops show up. They put them both in handcuffs. Turns out Karen had a warrant for shoplifting. And as she's getting dragged out, she's yelling across the bar, this is your fault, this is your fault, this is your fault, pointing at me. And the cops come ask me what happened. I explain this is a first date, I just met her, and they let me go. So I reopened my tab and had a few more and Ubered home. Let me know what you guys would have done or how you would have handled the situation in the comments.
Ladies, we gotta be more careful when it comes to dating apps and these men. Remember, we chose the bear. I think this story happened in NYC actually. So this girl met this guy from Hinge and basically they went out on a date, and on their first date they hit it off. Everything was pretty cool, and then the guy winds up going back to his apartment and the girl does the same. When the man gets home, he realizes that he forgot his keys and so he cannot get inside his apartment. His roommate had just left. It's pretty cold and he's just stranded outside his apartment having to wait for his roommate to come back. So he calls his date and he tells her, hey, I'm locked outside my apartment. I've been locked out here for a minute. And pretty much the roommate won't be back anytime soon. So homegirl, who just came from a date with him, was just like, fuck it, why not? So he on the phone with her explaining how he's stranded outside, and shorty's just like, you know what, screw it, why don't you just come wait at my place for your roommate to come back? And he's like, okay, bet. So he goes over to her house. So he gets to her house. So he gets inside, they get to hanging out, and at this point, it's been a while and it's getting pretty late. So shorty decides, you know what, I'm gonna call it a night and I'm gonna get some sleep. I guess she drew the line at letting that man sleep in her room because she decided to go into her room to catch some sleep. But something in her, just intuition, told her, hey, lock your doors. Discernment was chasing shorty this whole story, but she was faster. But at that moment, it finally caught her. Because in that moment, she realized, after all, she does have a stranger in her home. So, you know what? Let me lock my door before I go to sleep. So now at this point, it's pretty late. And, you know, she's hearing movement in her home, but obviously she knows that there's this stranger in her house. After she successfully falls asleep, around 3 in the morning, she hears a knock on her door. But before the person knocked, she said that she heard the person attempt to come into her room without knocking. She heard somebody shaking the doorknob, but then eventually he knocks. At this point, the guy's knocking and she's like, well, I'm not gonna open the door. So she answers from her bed. She's like, yeah, what do you want? And the guy's like, hey, I was wondering if you had a charger. And homegirl's like, a fucking charger? And she tells him that there's a charger in the kitchen. So she hears him walk to the kitchen, and after some time goes by, the guy comes back, knocking again. He comes back and he's like, yeah, I can't find the charger. And he's like, I can't find the charger. Can you help me find the charger? Like Dora the Explorer. I'm sorry. From there, her intuition just started going crazy. She's like, yeah, something's not right. And so from there, she decided to call the police. She pretty much said that she had this guy in her apartment. She's feeling pretty threatened, and if they could come and, you know, check it out. And that she is locked in her room and she's not planning on getting out. So the cops pull up, and she hears the cops pull up, knock on her front door, and she does not go out there to open the doors for them. Apparently, dude decides to let them in. Big shocker, it's the popo. Y'all, when the cops saw that apartment, the horror. So I guess the police got the guy, then decided to go into the bedroom of the woman who caught them in the first place. So the woman from her room hears a knock on her door, and she doesn't open it until they confirm that it is the police. And when she finally opens the door, the police is like, you need to come out here and see what the fuck this guy has done to your apartment. And fair enough, shorty walks out of her bedroom and into her living room, where she discovers that her entire living room had been covered in plastic tarp. It was like a scene fresh out of a serial killer's movie, like the setup and everything. And I'm talking the entire living room was covered. I can't find the original video telling this story, but if it is actually true, ladies, be careful who you bring into your home, okay? Me personally, that's something I had to learn too, because I be very liberal with, you know, meeting people and hanging out with them and shit like that, but you can't do that. This is not the time to be living on the edge. Let's be responsible from jump. Anyway, the end. How y'all feeling? Y'all like it? I don't know. I'm feeling something different. I might change it up. I don't really like how it came out. But anyway, from your favorite Haitian homegirl.